All right. My live. Okay. I think everything's good. So, hello everyone. My name is Justine. I am the Mermaid seamstress. Today is a real of a video. I have been super busy. I started a new full-time job, and then I didn't really have any days off, and the days off that I did have, I was traveling. So it was very, very hard for me to get a video filmed. The pool was closed, which was so frustrating. But now I'm back. The pool is back open. I will have video back for you guys shortly. So today I kind of just wanted to do a really informal chat, and if you have any questions, let me know. I will also be answering some commonly asked questions that I get on my channel. You may have seen them in comments, but I'll answer them also again here. So let me know in the chat if you have any comments, and I will try to respond to you. Okay, let's look at some frequently asked questions. So, this is a question from my Mythic Tale review video asking, is the fluke full silicone besides the monofin inside it? Yes, the fluke and fins on the Mythic Tales are full silicone. They're gorgeous, and they're attached to a neoprene body, which then has resin scales on it. And you can't really tell the transition from you can't see the transition from the neoprene to the silicone because the scales actually cover it. And it is done wonderfully. If you guys haven't seen a Mythic Tale by Finfolk Productions in person, they're absolutely gorgeous. They swim beautifully in the water. They're not too heavy. Sorry guys, I also have a little bit of a cold, but they're not too heavy. They are not super, what's the word? They're not overly buoyant. So yeah. Apple Plays, you're asking, does the FinFun Monofin Pro fit 12-year-olds? Yes, it does. It should. Unless you have a ridiculously small foot size, it'll definitely fit you. The way that the monofin works, and I wish I had mine here to show you, but it's basically just kind of like a sock, and you slip your foot in, and it goes tightly around your ankle, and then it's completely open the rest of the way. So it will fit you unless your foot size is like really, really tiny. Thanks for asking. Another question that I get asked quite frequently is, what is your longest breath hold? And this is one that I kind of want to address with a longer conversation eventually, and I will make a video about kind of why I don't want to talk about breath holds. And the reason for that is that breath holding is really dangerous. And even if you have somebody with you who is looking out for you and just for you, I'm not talking about lifeguards, I'm talking about somebody who is swimming next to you. If they are not professionally trained to be a safety diver or a free diver or a lifeguard, even then, you really shouldn't be doing breath holds. A lot of people, I've had people during my lifeguard sessions who will try and hold their breath for a really long time. Sorry, not when I'm on duty, but when other people are on duty and I'm swimming. I've had to save a number of people who passed out from holding their breath too long. And it's just not a fun experience. The average person passes out between 30 seconds and 1 minute. So I knew somebody, and he was swimming. He was trying to do 75 meters without breathing, and he got to the 50-meter mark and passed out. So I had to save him. But that was because he was being irresponsible. The lifeguard on duty didn't stop him from swimming with, like, she didn't say stop holding your breath, which is very, very dangerous. And fortunately, I noticed that he had blacked out. And so, yeah, he was fine. But I don't give advice about breath holding. And I won't, just for the safety of all of you guys. I don't want something to happen about that. Can you tread underwater with the monofin? Yes, you can. It's very difficult. You know, it is a vertical motion. You can't do that egg beater kick. By the way, hi, Catherine. You can't do the egg beater kick, which is kind of the normal, and you look kind of awkward because you're bobbing kind of forward and backwards, but you can do it. It's just not as graceful. And it's a little bit harder to get used to, but it is possible. It is definitely possible. You just look kind of dumb doing it, but it's not too bad. It's not super bad. Sorry, I'm reading comments off of my phone, so I will take a minute to do that. Do you have rats? I see them in a couple of your videos. Yes, I do have rats. They're currently up there chilling out. The other cage, I'm currently moving them into the other cage, but they're chilling out in their travel cage, which I'm used to move them. So yes, I have two boys. I have Rue, who's a black hooded, and Ghost, who is a Himalayan. And I will get them out probably in another video, but not tonight. They've gone to bed already. Because it is getting late, at least for me, because I get up at 5 in the morning. More breath holding questions. Do you find the shooter monofin is the best for speed through the water? This was on, I believe, was on my shooter monofin review. And the answer to that is yes. Yes, I do. It's definitely my most powerful monofin. I think just because it has the stiffest blade. It is also the hardest monofin I have to swim in, mostly because it's slightly too small, so the foot pockets are really tight, which means my feet cramp up really quickly, but it is so fast. And I have the extra large, so I have the large in my, just by itself, not in a tail. And then I have the 2XL in my mythic tail, which I didn't choose. That's the fin that came with that tail, and the propulsion in it is wonderful. And in that instance, in my mythic tail, it doesn't slide off, and it doesn't like grip my feet too tightly, so it's perfect, and I can swim really quickly in it and really fast, and it's wonderful. I love it. It's my favorite thing to swim in. Another one is often a question that I often get is, are you wearing a nose clip when you make bubble rings or do backflips? Yes, I am. I'm not wearing like a proper clip, but I'm wearing actually a sinus saver, and I am about to do a video on that. That'll be my next video. Is going to be how to get used to water going up your nose, or how to wear a nose clip. What I really like about the sinus saver is that since it sits in my nose, all you see is a little clear band right under my nose, which actually in a lot of the footage that I have, you can't notice at all. And I really like that about it. It also is really stable, and I don't have to worry about accidentally having it fall off while I'm swimming, because it is made like actually for water sports. Katie Field says, do you always have a swimming buddy as a mermaid in the pool? And what should the person look for a mermaid swimming buddy? If I am going to wear a full tail, then yes, I always have a buddy with me to swim with. If I'm just wearing a monofin, usually I will swim in the presence of other people. So, for example, I'm at a pool where we have a lifeguard. There are other people in the pool. I feel confident enough in just a monofin where I can get myself out of it and help myself. In a full tail, I like to have somebody who knows me and who can help me get out of the tail if I need to, just because it's a little bit more difficult. And the things that you want to look for is somebody who is at least as good of a swimmer as you are. So they should be able to swim just as well as you can, if not better. You should communicate beforehand and say like, hey, oh, hi, Aiden. Yeah, great. We're just talking about Mermaid swim buddies and Katie Field's question above. So you should look for somebody who's at least as good of a swimmer as you are. You should look for somebody who you like. And you should also look for someone, or before you start swimming, you should communicate and say like, okay, let's go over some ground rules. Like, I can do this. I feel comfortable with this. I use dive signals. So this is both an answer and a question. I ask, are you okay? Or they can ask me, are you okay? And I respond with, yes, I'm okay. If something's weird, I will give them a hand sign like, something's weird, I need to go up. And if I'm waving like this, they need to come and help me because that's an emergency. So those are kind of the things that I like to communicate with my swim buddy above. Aiden, yeah, sure. I can take a look at your channel and subscribe. I'm so glad you're a huge fan. So Katie, I hope that answered your question. I'm going to go through, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. While people are coming up with their questions, I'm going to continue going through some frequently asked questions on my channel. So yeah, let me know about that. Let's see. This one. Okay. Hi, I'm thinking of getting a Finfolk fabric tail. So this is on my shooter monofin review. And I saw on the website that this is on the Finfolk website that this is one of the ones that they recommend. I am worried about the rubber rubbing against my ankles. So with the shooter monofin, that's what I think that's what they're talking about with the rubber. I don't think they're talking about the rubber inside the tail, but yes, with the shooter monofin, you are going to get a little bit of rubbing, but you can either wear socks with it or neoprene booties, something like that, and that will definitely help with the rubbing. I haven't found that the rubbing is too bad in those. When I swim in my, what's it called? My Mythic Tail, which has the shooter monofin in it, it doesn't rub at all. And I've even had like sand in there and it doesn't rub, blisters. Katie Fields, you should do a mermaiding safety clip video. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. I have one up for ocean mermaids because I do swim in the ocean with my tails. And I have a safety video up for that. But you're right, I should do one for just general mermaiding and pool mermaiding. That would be a really cool thing to do. Thanks for the suggestion. Sorry, guys, hold on. What kinds of other things would you suggest there? What kinds of other videos would you guys suggest for me? Let me know in the chat. Also, is answering frequently asked questions helpful for you guys who are watching? I don't know. There's not a lot of people on the chat, so I'm not sure how that's working. But we shall see. This was kind of the only thing I could do for this video. It's going to be a rambling one, but maybe I'll just have it go half an hour. I don't know. But, yeah. Okay, good. Good. Glad to know that they're helpful. So another frequently asked question that I get is, do I scuba dive? And yes, I do scuba dive. I am not yet certified. It just hasn't worked out. Every time I get a chance to go. It's always like a couple weeks after. So for scuba diving, you have to do a series of dives, and you have to do a pool certification. So you have to do those series of dives within a certain amount of time from each other. I think it's 3 months, within 3 months of each other, and every single time, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. Every single time I am like just outside of the 3 months, so I have to start over with my dives, and it's so frustrating. But I do a lot of scuba diving, and I love it. How do you start a mermaiding group in someone's hometown? Well, I would say start with your friends, especially if you have friends who are interested in cosplay or interested in swimming, or just like you're really good friends that are really willing to give it a try. Everybody who I've converted has been a friend of mine. So Leo, who you've seen on this channel, we did a video together a couple times ago. His Mersona is the sea lion. He was one of my friends who I converted. My other friend, Magic, I was like talking with him about it, and he was like, wait, you're a mermaid? Like, what? You have to get me in on this. So I made him a tail. Other times it's kind of just been like a dream that people have, but they never talk about it, or they never realize that like it's possible. So like you could share my videos with them, or you can ask them like, oh, hey, have you seen Hannah Fraser or this, that, and the other thing, and gauge their reaction that way. Bye, Aiden. Nice to see you. So yeah, that's kind of how I'd go about, I think, starting. Oh, I'm not good at socializing. Thought mermaiding would help with that. Yeah, well, I don't know, Katie, like if you see people at the pool who come over to you and ask, oh, hey, like, where'd you get your monofin, or where did you get your mermaid tail? That's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of a hard thing to say, because people really have to approach you in that case, if that's what you're looking for. But there are so many, I don't know where you're from, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but there are a lot of different pods all over the area. So even if there's nobody like in your hometown, you could look around. I know that the Mer Network has a lot of pod information, or just, Google in general. Look and see if there are pods in your area, and see if they have like swim times that they regularly go swimming. I know that, oh yeah, Australia, I know that there are a lot of MERS. I don't know where Coffs Harbour is in Australia, but there's definitely pods around Australia, and so you should just, Sydney is the closest. Yeah. Is it too far? Like, is it too far to drive? Is that why it's hard to meet up with a pod? Or, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a challenging one. I'd say that, like, if people ask you, oh yeah, that is way too far to drive on a regular basis. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Hi, Savannah. How are you? Yeah, I'd say have people approach you. If people approach you and say like, hey, where'd you get your tail? That's really cool. Try and engage them in conversation. Say like, oh, I got my tail or my monofin, however you swim. Like, oh, I got it here. Yeah, I come here, every couple days. Something like, however often you swim, where you swim, obviously. Yeah, that's kind of a challenging thing, to be honest, Katie. I'm sorry I don't really have a better answer for you, but would an information booklet help? I'm not sure what you mean by that, to be honest. Would it be like you'd put out an information booklet at your local pool, or at your local swimming place? Or, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if a booklet would help. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh yeah, I mean, you could definitely carry one with you. Um, hmm. I never thought about it before doing it that way, so I don't know. I don't know if it would work very well. I mean, it might work. It definitely would work, and it would definitely explain kind of everything. I also think that just talking to people is gonna really help, and I know that's hard for you, but sometimes you got to do hard things if you're looking to make friends with other people. So yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely, just get the information out there and let them know it's possible. Savannah, I've been sick all day. I woke up with a fever. This is the worst possible time to get sick. Oh no! All my assignments are due on Thursday, and I just given up on Tuesday. Oh no, Savannah, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's tough. I hope you feel better. I really hope you do. I understand that it really stinks to get sick in the middle of the week. That's really sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I hope you feel better. I really hope you do. By the way, if anybody watching has any more questions, you can leave them in the chat. I will be happy to answer them. Savannah, thanks. It's Mark cutoff, so everything must be due on Thursday. Our teachers get report cards together. Oh yeah, it's the end of the year. Oh man. Ugh. Well, I hope you get better soon, and I really hope you get work done. Catherine says, "What are your thoughts on the validity of fish spotting, like bird watching, but fish?" That's really interesting. I don't know. Like, do you mean, because I know that there's sport fishing, which is like catch and release. Sorry, guys, I have to move real quick. Otherwise, my foot is going to fall asleep. Yeah, I don't know. We did something like that in vertebrate biology where we took nets out and we went and we did like the wading nets and we caught fish and we looked at them and then we released them. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing because most of the time, and then of course there's, scuba diving and snorkeling. I personally, I love fish spotting, like when I'm snorkeling or scuba diving. I think it's really a lot of fun. And sometimes, like, I know that when I'm in the Bahamas, we have like these waterproof cards, like ID cards, and we go and we look through. Yeah, that's really cool. I think that I really like fish spotting. It's kind of a weird thing that nobody really ever thinks of, like you'd call it snorkeling or scuba diving, but anyway. Yeah, that's interesting. Savannah. Savannah says, I don't get out much until the 28th because you have too much to do. I'll go swimming for a while. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, swimming while working is really hard. I agree, especially schoolwork. Katie Fields, I'm thinking knowing what to expect from people when they approach me might help and how to respond. Well, most of the questions that I get asked are, oh my gosh, where did you get that? Oh my gosh, like you're so, that looks so cool. What are you, like, where did you get that? Did you make that? What is it? And kind of just answering with, have your answers rehearsed, kind of say like, oh, I do this for fun. I dress up in a mermaid tail. This is a monofin. Like that's how I swim. It's a lot of fun. And just being very confident in your answers. Nerd Made Faith and Courtney Mermaid did a video called, is it anxiety? Like mermaid anxiety or something like that. But it's a really good video for people who are kind of nervous about how mermaids are going to, or how people are going to react to mermaids, if that's the answer you're looking for. Yeah, but just make sure that you respond with confidence. Never say something like, "Oh yeah, I know that's silly." Like, no, that's really gonna make people think it is silly. So, okay, good, yeah. So it's from, I think it's from November, that video that I mentioned. So you might have to look back a little bit farther, but it's a really helpful video for them, from them, and they cover a lot of that kind of anxiety and how to respond to people much better than I think I can at this point in time. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question, Katie. Savannah, it turns out I have a friend who had a monofin. We're going to hang out this summer. Awesome. That's so exciting. Oh, I'm so glad that you found somebody with a monofin who's willing to mermaid with you. Clara, woohoo, just made it. Gonna catch up here for a second. Yeah, take your time. No problem. Savannah, haven't had a friend to go swimming with for a long time though. Yeah, I didn't have anybody to go swimming with until about kind of February, when my friend Leo actually stumbled across my channel and was like, wait a minute, this is something you do? I love swimming. Can I go swimming with you? And I was like, yeah, sure. So that was really cool. Yeah. If anybody has any more questions, you can ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I am going to kind of read off some frequently asked questions that I have from the comments. So, yeah. Where did you get your necklace? So the necklace that I wear, I'm not wearing it now. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I think I might have left it at home because I was at home this weekend. But it's like a gold medallion it's a bronze medallion with a paw print on it. And I actually got it at the Minnesota Renaissance Fair, which is also where the Finfolk sisters started. So that's pretty cool. That's where I got my necklace. How does somebody pick a pod name? Well, a lot of them are named regionally. So, for example, I am part of one of my home pods is regional. So I belong to the East Coast pod or the Atlantic pod. Then within that, I belong to the Chesapeake pod, which is around the Chesapeake Bay. Then smaller to that, I belong to the Metro Merfolk pod, which is Virginia, DC, and Maryland. And it's called the, DC metro area. So it's called the DC Metro pod. That's how I came up with my pod name. My pod name at school, we haven't really come up with a pod name, to be honest. I don't know. That's a really good question. I guess you could name it like based on, I don't know, something that's near you, like about the body of water that you swim in, or I don't know, however you, or like things that you collect. So if you guys are really into collecting seashells, maybe you call yourself the Seashell Pod, or I don't know. It's really up to you. That's kind of, up to you, and depends on you how you want to name your pod. That could be a really fun thing. Another thing that I've been thinking about is how to come up with your mersona. Other than the mermaid seamstress, I don't really have a mersona. Somebody asked me that the other day, like, oh, what's your mersona? Or what's your mer name? And I don't really have one. I'm trying to figure that one out. Because the mermaid seamstress is nice and it's got a ring to it. But I'm not sure. I think, though, that I would call myself Lenia. I don't know. I just really like that. And that's a name that comes from Carolyn Turgeon's book, Catherine Dawn. That would be beautiful. That's a really great mermaid name. I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. Yeah. So Lenia comes from The Mermaid by Carolyn Turgeon. It's a book. It's called A Mermaid, The Twist on the Classic Tale. And it is the best book I've ever read. It's so good. It's like the Hans Christian Andersen version of The Little Mermaid. So the original story, but told from both the perspective of the mermaid, whose name is Lenia, and the princess who rescues the prince from the rocks after the mermaid has brought him up, and kind of the tension that creates. And it's a really amazing story. So good. You should definitely look it up. I know the audio version is really great, as well as, you know, the print copy, obviously, as well. Katie Field, trying for a steampunk mermaid vibe. Ooh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I did steampunk actually for quite a bit of time. I think I did steampunk. I dressed up for steampunk for Halloween one year with a couple of my friends, and we actually won first place in a costume contest, which was awesome. But I really like the intricacy and the color scheme of steampunk. I think you can do a lot with it. And a steampunk mermaid would be really, really cool. That'd be really, really cool. Have you seen, I think it is Fin Fun. It's probably Fin Fun. Fin Fun has a steampunk tale. I don't know if you've seen it. It's pretty decent. I like it. I like how it's designed. For sure. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink real quick. Fairly blind without prescription goggles. Yeah. That's actually, I'm impressed that you have prescription goggles. That's really cool. I don't know where I would get prescription goggles. That's a good thing to think about, though. Not for me necessarily. I do wear glasses, but I'm not completely blind. But my dad, who often has to wear, like when he goes snorkeling, like getting a prescription snorkeling mask, he might like that a lot. Actually, it's interesting. I just made a video on how to open your eyes underwater. And a lot of people commented on through an optometrist. Okay. Good to know. I'll definitely pass that along because I know my dad has been looking for a pair of prescription goggles. Cool. That's really cool. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me how to see underwater, and it's a tricky question because it's not like your contacts are going to work or your glasses are going to work. Like I know Nerd Made Faith, a lot of the time she gets questions about like, do her glasses actually help her see underwater? And they don't. But it has to do with the way that the water refracts the light is different than how the air refracts the light. So our eyes are made to adjust to air, and I guess eventually they would adjust to water, but it's very, very difficult. Like it has to, like your eye has to do some kind of crazy adjustments in order to see underwater. It's just not how our eyes are made, unfortunately. So I wonder if like real mermaids, like the H2O style mermaids or the mermaids who can transition from air to water, if they have blurry vision on land or if their eyes somehow can like change shape to focus. That'd be really interesting. I don't know. Food for thought, you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think mermaids are blind in the air just like we're blind underwater? Katie found out I was a much better swimmer the first time I used goggles. Yeah, I bet, because you can actually see where you're going. I know that when I'm not wearing goggles, I'm definitely a more timid swimmer, and I rely a lot more on the stripe along the bottom of the pool. So, Catherine, I think that mermaids could have eyes like sharks, where it's all black to catch a lot of light when in deeper water. Oh! That could be it. That could be it. I don't know. See, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to mermaids where it's like, are they really half fish, half person? Because it makes more sense. Sorry, I'm a biology major and a complete biology nerd. So I often think of things in like from a really weird lens when I think about like if mermaids are real, then like what would they actually be like? Like, would they be half mammal, half fish? Like, would they be dolphin? Because, like, dolphins and cetaceans and, like, that kind of thing, they're already mammals. So they're more closely related to humans than fish are. But the myth is that they have scales and are, like, fish. So would they have... But they could also just be, like, creature-like, you know? They could be humanoid on top and fish on the bottom. Who knows? But it's kind of a crazy thing. Like, that's how my mind works, is like, evolutionarily speaking, they would be this way, but like, you know, it's silly. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. I like your theory though, Catherine. Like, I think that would definitely be useful. Yeah, exactly. Whale and dolphin, like, where, you know, because whales and dolphins also, you know, fish swim like this, side to side, right? But whales and dolphins have that motion, what is it called? Lateral motion, the vertical kick. You know, why we call it the dolphin kick. And their spines are engineered to do that motion versus fish and sharks, which have the spine alignment to do the side-to-side kick. And, you know, obviously humans do too. H2O, they hold their breath. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like in H2O, in some places, how do I say this? In some media, I don't know, in some stories they are like they have gills or they can breathe underwater, and in others they just have a really long breath hold. So like whales and dolphins do, they have like 20-minute, 30-minute breath holds that like make it seem like they can breathe underwater when they can't. That would also be really cool kind of to think about, is like what would have to happen physiologically to the human part of our body to be able to hold our breath that long. Claire says, I have a question about nose plugs. I'm sitting here trying out my Signer Saver for the first time. I believe you mentioned that is the kind you use as well. It is. Another Mer told me about trimming the edges. I would not recommend trimming the edges unless it really doesn't fit. And most of the time, if it really doesn't fit, it's because you got too big of a size. So for myself, I actually have to wear the extra small ones. But the way I put them in, and I wish I had mine to show you, but they're in my car, is I kind of take one side and fold it in half and stick it up there. And then I take the other side and kind of fold it in and stick it up there. I don't just try to like stick it straight up there. It just doesn't work as easily. And it takes a little bit of time getting used to. If it is like, if you stick it up your nose and the plastic is coming out, then I would recommend that you trim it off. Like if it's sitting up where it's supposed to and it's creating a seal, but you still have the plastic like skirt part around, like coming out of your nose, then I might trim it. But I'd be careful about trimming it because it can, you know, don't trim it too short. Otherwise, I don't think it'll seal. Oh yeah, the connecting bar, definitely. Definitely. I thought about doing that too, like, because it looks exactly like a septum piercing, right? So I thought about painting it silver. Well, I have a very tiny nose, actually, and a deviated septum, so it doesn't fit as well in my nose as you might think. Um, but yeah, definitely. No, I think it would be really cool if you painted it silver, um, and then it would look like an actual septum piercing. Like that would be really cool. Actually, a lot of people, when I have it in, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you had a septum piercing," and I was like, "Actually, it's a nose plug." But, Katie Fields, what do you have in your mermaid and care kit? Actually, that is something that I will definitely or probably be making a video with. Excuse me, about is kind of my guide for mermaid care. I will tell you that the biggest things that I have in my care kit are goggles, nose plug, genteel eye drops. Those are really great. I have like saline for after my swim if my nose is really irritated. I always keep my water bottle on me. I have hydration salts, which are like little packets. They're a little bit kind of like Gatorade packets, except they're unflavored. But I have those because I feel like you don't realize how much you sweat underwater. So oftentimes I get out of the pool and I'm really dehydrated and I don't realize how much I've been sweating. So I need electrolytes back in my diet. That's kind of the main components of my like mermaid care kit. I'd also say that what else? Oh, there was one more thing. Water bottle, nose plug, eye drops, saline solution. Anyway, I will have a video coming out on that. I'm hopeful. I've been talking with another mermaid about it, about potentially doing a collab on that subject, on the subject of like mermaid self-care, which I cannot announce yet, but will hopefully be being released later this summer. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. Haha, I'm going to do it. Yes, please do it. Please do it. And I will see. Claire, I want to see your Instagram posts of your new sinus saver septum piercing. That would be so funny. I really look forward to seeing that. Yeah, and I hope it works too. I hope it does. I don't know what kind of paint you use. Because is it silicone? I don't know. Savannah W says, my eyes are very sensitive, so I struggle to open my eyes underwater. Just being in an area where onions are being cut makes them sting for like 30 minutes. Getting tap water in my eyes hurts so bad. You know, it probably depends on your concentration of tap water. You know, not all tap water is created equally. I would definitely recommend, if your eyes are very sensitive, even if they're sensitive, like if you wear goggles, I have some friends who will get like red and stinging eyes just from being around the chlorine, even though they wear goggles in the pool. I would definitely recommend Genteel Eye Gel, because it'll really soothe your eyes, and it really helps to protect them as well. It will make your vision a little bit blurry, but it'll go away pretty soon. It'll kind of coat and protect your eyes. Even if you're wearing goggles, like I sometimes put it on after a swim just because my eyes get dry from being around the pool. Sorry guys, hold on a second. Yeah, so yeah, so anybody have any more questions? Oh, Savannah, I have a towel over the shower door to wipe. Yeah, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Yeah, eyes, you know, it's definitely like your own personal selves. All right, bye, Katie. Have a good one. It's definitely, yeah, it's a personal, you know, it varies person to person how sensitive people's eyes are. Um, yeah, but Genteel Eye Gel has done wonders for me, um, even just in my everyday life, not just my mermaiding life. So definitely a good thing to use if you have sensitive eyes. Um, Claire. Yeah, thanks, me too. I will use nail polish to experiment. It's silicone, so other options might be mixing pigments with aquarium silicone, but that may defeat the purpose of making it thin. Yeah, it probably would, to be honest. But you might get a temporary, I don't know, they probably put some kind of mattifying or like, you know, to make it not sticky. Does that make sense? So the nail polish might stick to it, actually. I don't know. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. Okay, guys, there's 15 minutes left. I know there's not a lot of people watching still, but yeah, let me know. Let me know. Savannah, I decided I'm going to set up my cage as a DCN and either going to have the dwarfs in one level and the hamster on the bottom if the breeder nearby starts up again, or just have them the whole cage. Not sure what I would do. Lol. Sorry, off topic. No, not a problem. Actually, I don't know if you knew this, Savannah, but Claire is actually also a rat mother. So we are changing topics a little bit, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely do that, the cage setup. I actually was thinking about that for a while. I was looking at fostering a couple of boys who I would have to separate, and I would do the upper level as the rat cage and the lower level. There's definitely plenty of space in one of the Critter Nation levels. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Sorry guys for being off topic. Okay, if anybody else doesn't have any questions, I think I'm going to sign off because I am very hungry. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I don't do live streams very often, but let me know down in the comments box below if you want to see more of them. As always, don't forget to click that subscribe button and the bell notification button. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Okay, bye, fish friends.